I think this is a great pick. This is who I would have picked number 2 overall, honestly. Like you said, he's going to be the number 1 receiver immediately. They've won 2 of the last 3 offensive rookie of the years, like you said as well. Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase. You can make a really good argument. Puka Nacua might have even deserved it last year over CJ Stroud. I think they got it right with Stroud, don't get me wrong, but Nacua was right up there with as well. He's got a great quarterback in Kyler Murray, who also was really hyped when they picked him as well. He's a once-in-a-decade type of talent, and he's in a great spot to produce big numbers immediately. So I think this is clearly the number 2 pick I would have had if I had the number 2 slot as well.
All right, so now I'm a little nervous. You got back-to-backs here.
All right, I'm gonna go defense for the first time today. I'm not gonna go with the favorite. I'm gonna go with Latu from the Colts, who is
he's not the favorite?
No.
Who is?
Dallas Turner is currently the favorite at plus 400. So
Latu is since you already picked him. This was the other player that I was considering with one of my 2 selections. This is who it would have been. It was between Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Latu with who's going to take this one. But,
I like you, Trevor. I had him as my number 1 edge in the draft, and probably even number 1 defensive player in the draft. I think he's the most NFL-ready pass rusher we've seen in a while, honestly. He had a 96.3 PFF grade. It's the highest we've ever given out to a Power 5 player. I think you adjust quickly to the NFL game and have NFL-ready moves, and maybe you put up double-digit sacks as a rookie with a ton of pressures. The only thing that scares me a little bit is that the Colts had the second lowest blitz rate last year. So, he probably will have some double teams at times, and maybe not as many free rushes or one-on-ones like a guy like Dallas Turner might have. But I still think Latu was the most NFL-ready pass rusher, and I think he's going to be instantly an impactful defender for the Colts. So I think he's right now the favorite for defensive rookie of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's hard to disagree with you, especially when you look at the history of defensive rookie of the year voting. Right, it was Will Anderson this past year. Okay, so pass rusher, defensive lineman. It was Sauce Gardner the year before that, which is pretty crazy that Sauce won this award, because normally when you are a corner, in order to get this kind of recognition to win an award, you have to get a lot of interceptions. And he only had 2. Now, he had 20 passes defended. I'm not trying to take anything away from Sauce Gardner's season. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that he ended up winning this with the statistics that he had. I can't remember who the others were. I can just click voting. Hold on, let me see. Who was it? Defensive Rookie of the Year. Oh, it was Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks. Man, I'm surprised they didn't give it to Hutchinson. I think the New York media, and honestly, his name being Sauce Gardner, probably helps him out a little bit just because of the hype that he had for him. But look, Sauce had an unbelievable year. I'm shocked that it happened, that he got that award, but I'm also glad that it did, because it showcased, hey, maybe the voters are willing to go away from the stats every now and then. But Micah Parsons, I'm listing off the other guys who won it. Micah Parsons, Chase Young, Nick Bosa were the next 3, all pass rushers. This is so often a very easy award to just be like, oh, did this guy get a lot of sacks? Okay, yeah, we're gonna give him the award. So you often lean defensive linemen, but I'm curious who you're gonna pick here next.
I know.
Because if you don't pick the defensive player I'm looking at, then I might take him on the turn here.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go defense again.
Okay,
I'm again passing on Dallas Turner. He's the favorite right now. I'm gonna go with a different player. I'm going Jared Verse for the Rams here.
Okay, all right.
I thought he was the second best edge in the draft after Latu. He had the 3rd best pass rush win rate since 2022 in the country. I think he'll be immediately a starter on a playoff caliber team in Los Angeles, so I think matters a little bit as well. And you got Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk there as well, so he's not going to get double teamed probably as much. I think Jared Verse is probably going to have a pretty big impact both as a run defender and pass rusher for the Rams, and I think that he will be pretty quickly one of the better defensive players on that team, and I think he's probably a pretty good bet. I think he's a plus 1,100 right now on DraftKings. Yeah, plus 1,100. He's a 4th favorite for defensive rookie of the year right now, but I would probably put him 2nd. So I'm going to go with Jared Verse and Latu as my 2 picks.
Yeah, the thing that holds me back from Verse being picking him as high as I would have in this group is I just don't know what his setup is going to be like with the Rams, because they do a lot of odd front stuff. And if I'm going to be honest, I liked Verse the best, and he had his best pass rush grade when he was more of a 4-3 defensive end. And that was when he could play as a 5 technique defensive end, have his hand in the dirt, use that leverage, use that speed to power, that explosiveness to really give offensive tackles all sorts of fits. If the Rams are going to stick more with that odd front, he's sort of like an in-between player. And I don't think he's not going to be good for them.
Yeah.
I just wonder how much production he'll really be able to get as a 2-point edge rusher if you're going to stand him up as an outside linebacker, or as like a crash down sort of like interior defensive end type of a player. So I don't know. I have faith that the Rams are going to put their talented players in the right situations. That role is just a little bit more difficult for me to be like, okay, this is exactly where I see him succeeding at the NFL level, because he was able to do so in college. In fact, it's more of the, okay, when he was a 2-point rusher at Florida State, he wasn't as effective as he was when he was more of a 4-3 defensive end. So that's kind of what I think about that one.
It was fair. No, I like him. I think that's a good point, but I still think, I liked him the second best out of all these edges, more than Dallas Turner, who I'm hoping you might not take here and with one of your 2 picks. I would love that value in the 3rd round. But I do think Jared Verse is still a guy that I would trust to put up good enough numbers in LA. And like I said, they're going to be a playoff caliber team, which I think does matter for this award. So I think that he's going to have a chance at winning Defensive Rookie of the Year next year.